We are coming to you live from TV3 studios here in Accra. We're also live on 3FM 92.7, streaming live on the internet at 3news.com, and live on Connect 97.1 FM in Takoradi. Gentlemen, we're moving on to issue number 2, which is the Electoral Commission's deletion of 56,772 names. These people were people who registered with the NHIS cards. We are told that exhibition will start on Monday, and that also gives the affected persons opportunity to actually go to be re-registered. So we are looking at the issues around that and more. I'll start with you, George. You ended, Honorable, but your take on this is that whether people, the affected persons, looking at the timing, do you think there was sufficient notice in terms of going to check whether your name is on there to be sure, and if your name is on there, going for the re-registration process? Because the re-registration is in line with the exhibition, which is from 18th to the 7th of August, I believe.
Yeah, I think that if you want to talk about notice, there is enough notice. And for those of us who are in law, constructive notice is constructive notice.
Once it's published.
Yes, under the circumstances, you can't talk about actual notice. So you can only talk about constructive notice. And I think that pasting these names at the district assemblies, at the district offices of the EC.
Is it the district offices or the regional offices?
No, there will be district offices of the EC.
Because currently what's out there is the regional offices.
Which you would also have publication
in the
region by
dailies.
region in the dailies. I think it's enough.
People have asked questions as to how many people in the hinterlands, for instance, would have access to the dailies, and then if it's the regional offices, which is out there.
But of course, there are even other modes of checking. I mean, those who have access to
internet,
the text message, short codes, and all that. I think that enough areas have been deployed. And then also, you have 10 days within which you do all that. You remember that in the registration itself, it was 5 days.
Limited registration.
It was 5 days and then another 5 days. So for 10 days running, I think that.
You think it's good enough time?
I think that
sufficient
is good enough
notice?
time. What the EC needs today is the support of the media, so that now that we have virtually every hamlet has some community radio stations and things like that, the announcements should keep pouring out as public service, so that everybody there. Of course, the political parties, we are major stakeholders in it, and therefore, whatever it does, we have structures all the way to our branch levels. So we should also help take the matter down, because we are the ultimate beneficiaries. And so we are major stakeholders, and we have a duty to assist the EC, to get the message down. So I believe that it's doable.
Very well. I'll pick up from where you left off, which is the involvement of the political parties in creating awareness, bringing that information to the people. And ask this question, Mr. Johnson. The EC went ahead and deleted the names. Yes. I've heard some people complain about the fact that it did it like that without perhaps getting the IPAC or political parties, which Honorable rightfully says are the major stakeholders, if you like, in this whole process. So do you find that problematic, that they actually went ahead, deleted 56,772 names without involvement of IPAC, for instance, or the political parties, for that matter?
It wasn't IPAC. Unfortunately, I'm not part of IPAC, so I'm not sure the kind of discussions that went on between the political parties before this whole thing was done. But I would have felt that from the initial standpoint, the finding of the names, the sourcing of the names from the electoral should have been done with the political parties. They should have set up a committee where all political parties will be part and parcel of identifying those names and making sure that there is no afterthought that the number of names that have the Electoral Commission have brought out is not enough, is not adequate, is not what they are saying it is. It would have quashed all the kinds of after talk that has happened since these names came out. So they didn't do that, and they've gone ahead and they've deleted the names. Political parties, and we hear the MPP saying that it is not possible that there are only 56,000 names in the
because
whole
they actually had an earlier figure, a very huge,
a very huge figure. And for me, when I heard the figure of 56,000, I kind of questioned it. When you take the number of people who vote in this country, about 14 million, Are you saying it's only 56,000 people who use the NHIS card to register? I don't see the possibility of it. For me, I think that there isn't enough time for them to actually delve into this situation. And so Ghanaians, for me, should have been patient enough to say that there is no way we are able to do this work before the election date comes. So let's suspend it for this election.
Because they had a Supreme Court order to comply with.
Yes, they had a Supreme Court
order.
So
they had no choice.
They had a Supreme order to comply, but they should have gone back to the Supreme Court and be honest with the Supreme Court that, yes, we have the order you put in, but it is not possible. Looking at the time scale we've got to elections, it's not possible for us to do. So if we may, let us take what we have now, because we used it for 2000.
Yes,
didn't we?
Very well. Let me bring in. I see Honorable shaking his head. Do you have an issue with that?
From day one, they've been given 4 days by the Supreme Court. Now they've gone back to the Supreme Court and said that, look, this is what we were able to find in our system. I agree with anybody who says that this may not be all because it's a human institution. But the EC is also saying, and that is where I support
this
the
is
EC.
what we have.
This is what we have. We're able to find. Now, people are flying figures in the air. So it means that they have actually noticed that those numbers are there somewhere. Give us the evidence. People said, oh, we've even received calls from some of our party members who said, bring them to the EC. Help the EC do it, because the EC hasn't said that if anybody is able to prove further to the 56,000 that yes, I registered and I didn't find my name. You know, they are not going to accept and delete. But where we are all sitting in the comfort of our homes, people are shouting on radio and TV every day saying that no, we don't believe the figure. There is so much more there. How do you expect the EC to do it? Is it magic? No, if you have the ability to support the EC to delete, that is why we are doing the exhibition. Beyond the national health insurance that we are all focused on, there are dead people on the register. There are minors on the register. We all agree. Let's all support the EC to delete this. And
clean up the register.
Clean up the register. Other than that, we would just be talking, let my vote count, let my vote not count, this one. You will be sitting there, election day will come.
So Abna, if I may then add
yes, just wrap up, yes finish, because he came in to respond to.
I wholly agree with what
Honorable George
was saying. It has to be a continuous process, right through. It has to be a continuous process, because come 2020 elections, I can bet you will be back at this same point again. The EC should
when you
make
say
sure
it has to be a continuous process, what exactly?
In terms of making sure that we identify these names as we go along. Even after the 2016 election, that process should continue. So that by 2020, at least, if for nothing at all, we would have reduced it to the barest minimum. It's not as if after 2016, we now sit back, come 2020, we now go back and it's just, you know, back and forth, back and forth. That continuous process is very important.
Perhaps while pursuing that, we'll also be pursuing the issue about the national ID.
Yes, the national ID.
Exactly.
The national ID.
So yes, now I'm coming here, you're accusing me of some Western
Alliance.
Very well.
It's the 10 of the East.
We're opposition.
Yes, I'll start from where my colleague ended. Let me assure Ghanaians that now to Danko Akufo-Addo's government, the next new patriotic party's government, as a matter of priority, will make sure we get this national identification thing on board. And that will be the first fundamental basis of securing the nationality of every Ghanaian. And going forward with that, by the time we get to 2020 elections, we would have gotten for ourselves a well and properly managed electoral rule.
Let's hope you don't eat your words come 2020.
No, mark my words. Mark my words. Today, I tell you, and I'm assuring all Ghanaians today, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo's government will make it as a matter of priority.
Because your government started it. What happened?
Yes, we are not in government in perpetuity. We weren't. And that is the good thing about governance. It is a continuing process. So one would have expected that taking over from J. Kufuor MPP's government 2009, Professor Mills and Mr. Mahamad's government would have carried on that project. We wouldn't have been sitting here today, be mooning over who is a Ghanaian and who is not. How old are you and how young are you? we are here where we are because the government renegated on that fundamental basic necessity of nation building. Moving on. Now, is it true that in court, in open court, it is said that majority of Ghanaians on the voter register did so registered with the NHIS? Is it true? Was it said in court? Majority of Ghanaians on the register, majority of Ghanaians. I'm taking my words carefully. Majority. It was said in court. And what does majority?
By who?
Huh?
By who?
By the Attorney General, who is also a respondent in the.
Attorney General is not the electoral commission.
Please. I put the question there. Was it said? And he asked me. It was said in court, and he asked me who said so. And it's the Attorney General who said so. Is it not the case?
Yeah, but the order was not directed at the Attorney General. Directed at the EC to bring.
Please,
allow me.
Make your point, please.
The Attorney General was in court, conjoined with the Electoral Commission.
As a nominal.
Oh, please.
Yes, understand.
So
Counsel,
please make your point. So all
look
his
like Attorney General was
senior,
allow
nominal.
Senior, allow me. The Attorney General is no less a person but the chief counsel for the government. Attorney General was in court, conjoined with the EC on this particular issue. And that statement was made. And EC was there. And EC never protested. The Electoral Commission never said no.
No, but Honorable, I get where you're drifting and everything, but we have 56,000. In fact, the list that was presented before the Supreme Court was 56,000, yes. And now we have 56,772 names deleted, yes. So moving forward, I think that whole argument about, yes, they said that as against this, really is passé, or is in the past. So whoever wants to take up the action in court again, perhaps it's free to do.
No, I agree with you. But my two colleagues, the earlier speakers, lamented on the fact that figures have been put out there and that whoever knows who has it has come out. He has suggested about continuum or continuous deletion. So it presupposes that we all agree in principle that the figure is supposed to be more than 56,000. However, within the capacity of the EC, this is what it has got to. Is it not the case?
This is what they have brought,
good,
yes. And
good. So I'm building a point that in the wisdom of the EC and in Ghanaians, if the EC want to be sincere with we Ghanaians, the figure 56 put out there is more than an insult. Even though it might not be capacitated enough to come up with more than that, if you have majority of Ghanaians on the voter register, which is around 14 million, and once you talk about majority, it means half of that plus one going. You're talking about 14 million people on the register. Majority starts with 7 million plus 1. It is never 7 million minus 1. That is what majority means. We are in parliament.
So they're saying if you have any evidence, bring it and let's deal with it. That's the way to move. And so
nobody has, but the EC has.
We can't have a stalemate forever.
Oh, please.
No, people are listening to us. I will not sit here for you to be doing the thing.
They listen
as a lawyer.
And you don't want them to listen to you.
As a lawyer, you know that the Attorney General has no capacity to determine how many people.
No, please.
So you don't want me. You don't want to listen to me.
So please go on.
Yeah. My point is, okay. Let me help you here. My point is, the Attorney General said so in the presence of the EC, and the EC. I agree with you. The EC is the custodian. The EC had every right to tell the court that what the Attorney General is saying is not the truth. Please. I am in charge. I do not agree with. But the EC did not.
Let's fast forward
so consent
to this point.
Meant it was true then. Okay, so my point is, now we are confronted with the 56,000.
And whoever has evidence of there being any other should bring it.
And I agree with all that we should help the EC and the people of Ghana to go through this exercise. Indeed, there are two separate operations going on, but because they all borders with the voter register, we tend to
put it
together. Those whose names have been deleted, the list is separate and is out there. People should actually check and see if their names are on board. Then they can go back and do the re-registration. It might be a mistake that you did not use it, but your name might have been there. Go and check. Don't presume that you registered with your passport, so your name cannot be there. It might be dangerous. Then the second and the major thing is about the exhibition of the entire register. That one too, we need people to go out there and then check. Party functionaries, my new patriotic party functionaries, those at the grassroots level, the polling stations and the constituencies and the regions, those who have the mandate or who have the responsibility to lead the exercise. This is the time the party needs your commitment. You must help people to go look for their names on the register, get them verified, and those we know that they ought not to be there. By that I mean those who have passed away, I mean those who are minors. We need to back them with evidence so we can help clean the register. But by and large, beyond 2016 elections, Ghanaians will have a truly, truly good register to work with. We will start with the national identification project and make sure each and every Ghanaian, once given birth to, you will have a proper identification.
Very well. Doc?
Well, I think it's interesting, but let me first of all commend the Supreme Court for bringing finality to this issue, in the sense that at a point in time the tension was so high, and I quite remember when the Chief Justice made the pronouncement that the Electoral Commission cannot plunge this country into chaos. The anxiety, I mean...
And that is why the young journalists threatened them. That is when.
We are on the same side. So
yes, I'm happy.
Doc, please carry on.
You are my teammate.
Yes. So I think it's good. But you see, Abna, when I listen to this whole NHIS card holders, their deletion and all those stuff, sometimes I get a little bit worried. Worried in the sense that, you see, these 56,700 and something people who have their names deleted, we should not in any way try to criminalize their action.
But
no, I'm just saying we should not.
Most of the 56,000 names, most of them are duplicated.
Okay.
Yes.
Like Dr. Jinapol, about 6.
Please
okay.
let
So if that is the case, it was no fault of theirs. I mean, the law asks to.
I think yes, that is.
Yeah, everybody.
Nobody's. Yeah.
If you ask me, Abana, honestly, do I think that 56,000 people registered with NHIS? I will tell you that no. I think the number is more than that. Yes. If you ask me, even though I don't have the facts. Yes. And I say this because, listen, I've heard people talk about this. Attorney General make the point that majority of Ghanaians voted, registered with NHIS card. Initially, when I heard it, I thought it was not true. I thought it was not. But it looks as if it is the case that she made that statement. And I think it's unfortunate that today, if she really made that statement, 56,000, because the Attorney General, even though was not the one sued, the Attorney General is an important person in this country that you cannot do away with her words. If the Attorney General says that, look, I believe majority of Ghanaians registered with NHIS cards, and today 56,000 people have been registered, then I think the Attorney General should have come out.
But the 56,000, you
yes.
Personally, you're saying you don't even think that. You think it's an understatement.
No. I think it's an understatement. But you see, moving forward, let me tell you the fact. The fact of the matter is that I have said that we've had change of government in this country by the opposition, the NPP, and the NDC. In 2000, the NPP won elections. In 2000. If you compare the 2000 voters register to today's voters register, I can tell you for a fact that this one is 100% better than it. After all, if for nothing at all, this time we registered biometrically, and we have biometric verification. In 2008, the voters register was not the best. The opposition NDC won. Today, as we stand now, I do not think that the voters register as it stands now is the best. I do not think so. I do not think it's the best.
And that is not in dispute. I mean, yes. That is...
The most important thing for us, especially the political parties, is to assist the EC in the process. And that is where I agree with Honorable Kukufu that, look, the political parties must be involved. This whole argument that, look, most people live in the villages. You know the people in your constituency. You know the people at the police station. Yeah. You know their names. You get your people to, if Abuna Tebi is deleted, you look for Abuna Tebi where she is.
So that's what I was asking. Would it have been better to have the parties involved at the point of deletion?
You see, Abuna, the point is this. The point is that the reason why that question is asked is all about trusts. It's all about trust.
And that is an issue that EC is grappling with.
It's all about trust. But you see, the law is the law. If today the EC had said that a new voters register should be done, the EC has no option than to do it. The law says that the Electoral Commission should delete and register them. So the Electoral Commission has the discretion. In fact, IPAC that is always being touted, IPAC is by the discretion of the Electoral Commission. Yes, they say, look, let's bring people together and have consensus.
It's good. It's good.
No, it's
when
good.
We are building consensus.
Agreed. It's good. But you see, that's why I said that. At the end of the day, look, the MPP was part of the suit in court. Evans Nimakon. He was part of it.
No, please.
Oh, Evans
I think that one we resolved this one. Yeah.
He's an MPP member, yes. But it is not in the name of MPP.
It's not the name of MPP.
It's not in the name of MPP, but it's an MPP member.
But that's the MPP.
Because
please allow Dr.
Because
we need to wrap up. We need to take a break.
The Mutie boys, the NDC boys. But the threat on the judges cannot be viewed on the NDC.
You really want to discuss that?
You want to do that?
Please wrap up. I need to take a break.
What I was trying to say is that the MPP as a party has an interest in this issue.
NDC also has an interest.
Agreed.
Honorable. Please, the interjections. Honorable, the interjections, please. Go easy on them.
So what I'm trying to say is that, moving forward, as it stands now, this is where we are. Whether we like it or not, as a matter of fact, there's the highest probability that these people who are going to be deleted, their names are going to be captured again. So in fact, we are using the same old register. You understand what I'm saying? In effect, we are using the same old register. So if that is the case, then moving forward, I think we should look at how we can come up with long-term plans in dealing with this issue once and for all.
And that is the new...
Very well. So I'll be taking some messages before the break. This says, Abna, those who try to question virtually everything that the president does, I don't think that's good because they don't know better than the president. Indeed, they're entitled to their opinions and they can exercise that right. That is Alex Dapila in Kumasi. One says, Abna, please tell Mr. Kwame Jant whether the appointment of Mr. Emmanuel Bombande as Deputy Foreign Minister is a campaign tool. It has worked on me. He shouldn't complain about the time. Well, maybe he likes Mr. Bombande, so there, something like that. Abna, President John Mahama, over the years of his administration, has failed in fulfilling his own promises of ending Dumsor and many others. The verdict on the NDC government moving into an election is negative, given the excruciating economic hardship visited on Ghanaians. I say that the time for change of government is this year's election. This is Seth in Hohoi. This Mahama strategy by appointing ministers will not work. He must go. This is from Sadiq Janga. Injury time, 99 minutes or whatever you want to call, is extremely crucial. Portugal won Euro 2016 after Eda was introduced in the last minute of a highly competitive match involving France. There's nothing wrong with this appointment. This is John in Saman Mensa Olibun Ablekuma. The president is ahead of his government, and I believe he knows what he's doing regarding his appointees. He will answer to Ghanaians on that. So let's allow him. This is Aram in Adenta news site.